Next up, we got El Mayo. Mexican drug lord Ismael El Mayo Zambada to plead guilty in the federal charges. All right, that's him when he got snatched up, kidnapped, arrested, napped. So yeah, Ismael El Mayo Zambada has agreed to plead guilty to federal charges in a deal with U.S. prosecutors. His change of plea hearing is scheduled for today, Monday, August 25th, 2025, in Brooklyn, New York, according to prosecutors. Zambada and, according to prosecutors, Zambada and his partner, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, transformed the Sinaloa cartel from a regional drug gang into one of the largest drug trafficking organizations in the world. Not just America, the world, Craig. Prosecutors have announced that the 77-year-old drug lord is expected to plead guilty to 1 count of racketeering conspiracy and 1 count of operating a continuing criminal enterprise. Yo, these niggas will make a deal with anybody, bro. A key factor in the plea deal is that federal prosecutors agreed not to seek the death penalty again. Yeah, I mean, he definitely qualified, bro. Like, this shit's great. 1 count. So yeah, Zambada, Mayo was arrested or kidnapped, depending on how you look at it, because there's still a lot of mysteries surrounding the capture, of his capture. You know what I mean? Like, the known details suggest like a dramatic kidnapping and betrayal that involved his longtime partner El Chapo and more so his son. But I guess I don't know how that works. But conflicting narratives have existed between Zambada's accounts and the initial reports from like U.S. authorities and Mexican officials. Now, in a public statement released by his lawyer in August of 2024, a month after he was detained, Zambada claimed that he was kidnapped and brought to the U.S. against his will. Zambada stated that he was lured to a meeting with Joaquin Guzman Lopez, son of El Chapo, outside of Plead, Sinaloa, on July 25th, 2024. Upon arrival, he said that he was ambushed by Guzman Lopez and 6 other men in military uniform. Zambada said he was thrown onto the ground, handcuffed, and a hood was placed over his head. After that, he was taken to an airstrip, forced onto the plane, and basically tied to a seat with like zip ties. So I guess they had it like armed to the, to the joint, whatever. You know what I mean? It looked like they was in front of him, you know what I mean, in that picture. But that picture looked like more so, because they had one of him like actually on the plane. But that more so looked like a vehicle, like you see the back window and all that shit or whatever. So I don't know, that must be like when he landed or something, or when he was being driven to the airstrip. The plane landed in Santa Teresa, New Mexico, where U.S. federal agents from Homeland Security Investigations and the FBI arrested, both Lopez and El Mayo. Now, the U.S. officials' initial narrative was that El Mayo and Guzman Lopez, Chapo's son, was arrested when their plane, believed to be flying to northern Mexico for real estate purposes, but instead landed north of the border. Now, key element of this, you know, that seemed kind of off is that Guzman Lopez, who had been in negotiations, or secret negotiations, damn near, pretty much duped El Mayo into, you know, getting on the plane. One official described El Mayo as the cherry on top. I saw when he was speaking about the surrender operation, you know what I mean, for Guzman Lopez. But no matter what the version of the story you believe, both Zambada's statement and initial U.S. reporting both point to the betrayal of Joaquin Guzman Lopez, the son of Zambada's former cartel partner, El Chapo. And if you want to get technical, El Mayo kind of had it coming because you see in 2009, after meeting with DEA agents, El Mayo's son, Vicente, was known as Gordo, Mayocito Gordo. He was arrested by Mexican police at like a luxurious home in Mexico City. After being extradited to the U.S. in 2010, Zambada negotiated a secret plea deal in exchange for providing extensive information on the cartel, snitching, right? And he pleaded to drug trafficking charges in 2013. As a key cooperating witness now against the cartel or whatever, Zambada Jr., you know, Vicente, he testified against El Chapo during his trial in 2019. And his testimony detailed drug shipments, internal rivalries, and the immense corruption fueled by the cartel's operation, including monthly bribes of up to like $1 billion paid to Mexican officials. Now, on the subject of Mexican officials, Mexican authorities stated that they were not involved in the operation, and the circumstances have prompted an investigation in Mexico into whether or not government officials were involved in handing over a Mexican citizen to foreign agent, which could be considered treason. It's crazy, right? Like real narco state. You know what I'm saying? The plea deal, I mean, this represents the downfall of one of the world's most powerful and elusive, like, you know, drug lords. So for decades, like, El Mayo has evaded capture. I don't know if he's ever really spent a day in jail. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, he did all of that or whatever, bro, while, like, you know, El Chapo was arrested, tried, and sentenced to life in prison in the same Brooklyn court that he got to plead guilty in, you know what I mean, today. Probably in that bitch right now. I guarantee you he is. You know, the plea deal also raises questions about the future of the Sinaloa cartel and other cartel rivalries and shit, right? Because you got Ivan Guzman Salazar and his brother Jesus Alfredo Guzman Salazar. You know, now that they're half brothers, Ovidio and Joaquin, you know, Lopez or whatever we were just talking about, are in U.S. custody. They're now the primary leaders of, you know, the Chapitos faction of the Sinaloa cartel. Now, in a surprising move, Los Chapitos have reportedly formed an alliance with none other than the CMG, which is the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, headed by El Mencho. Right? Now, that is kind of crazy because they used to be like adversaries, like they had real smoke. You get what I mean? But you know, they're clicking up basically in a move to, you know, get rid of El Mayo faction because then they can run the whole show. The power struggle has caused like significant territorial shift, you know, with all the infighting and everything like that. So some factions have actually started aligning with former rivals. And experts believe that the Sinaloa cartel, as it was known, is gone now. But we're seeing like, I don't know, I feel like we're seeing hybrid group come together, like how the insane sets in Chicago have been known to click up, which is kind of interesting when, you know, you think about how Chicago was a major hub for the Sinaloa cartel with the Flores brothers, you know, the twins moving tons of bricks, and they ended up testifying at Chapo trial. Their wives, I think, got booked for money laundering and all that. But let me know what y'all think about this, man. Like, what do you think is going, like, or who do you think is going to be the next big drug lord in Mexico? Or, well, shit, like, are they even gonna, is the next drug lord even gonna be from Mexico or Latin America? Because if not, then I would think maybe somewhere in Asia, since, you know, they heavy with the Fetty Wap, they thinking all the Fetty Wap comes from over there. You got the Middle East, they grow most of the heroin or whatever, and so the poppy that gets processed into, you know, the heroin, dog food, whatever, clever in your hood. And like, you know, so that's the supply chain. It could be moving through like Eastern European organized crime group like Russian, Albanian mafia and shit like that, because cocaine is booming in Europe. And also it's a lot of former politicians and former cartel like heads that are moving to Spain. You know what I mean? And like, even when Vicente got El Mayo's son got bad, you know, he was over there in like Asia or some shit like that or whatever, trying to build a lab or something like that or whatever out there so that they can manufacture the drugs and they don't even have to go through all the transport shit. You just gonna have manufacturing in every continent now. So yeah, man, like this is definitely makes it whatever for some let me know y'all personal thoughts in the comments as well. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button or whatever and shit, man. Subscribe. Like. Help the algorithm. All right.